we had was terribly overcrowded. We had them sleeping on the floor of the gymnasium. We had them sleeping more in each cell than they were supposed to have, and I just felt it was time to say, I'd talked to the legislature, I'd begged them, the governors had begged them to give us money for additional beds. It didn't occur, so I said, well, let's see if we can get their attention. So I shut the door, and the sheriff says, you can't do that. I says, try me. And so, of course, they brought them up there, and we wouldn't take them, and then one of them threatened to chain one to the fence. I haven't heard about the tree, but he threatened to chain one to the fence. And the superintendent called me, and I said, well, you tell that tower officer if he lets anybody get close enough to the fence to chain one to it, he don't have a job anymore. So he didn't chain him to the fence. So they went to the circuit judge in Stark, which is the 8th Judicial District. His name is Judge John Cruz. And they wanted him to issue an order forcing me to take the inmates. And the word I got back was that he told them to come back the next morning and he would issue that order. Well, I called Judge Cruz, and I knew him well, and he knew me well. And I said, Judge, I understand you're going to issue an order forcing me to take the inmates tomorrow. He said, well, no, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. So I said, well, let me tell you what I'm going to do. If you issue the order, I'm going to take the inmates. But before I do, I'm going to make sure that the press is here, and I'm going to tell them that the responsibility is Judge Cruz and Stark, not Louie Wainwright as head of the Department of Corrections. He said, well, now, Louie, don't do that, I'll think about it. So he didn't issue the order. And, of course, we worked with the Parole Commission and trying to get the population down, and we did get it down some, and where we could at least get them out to the institutions. We created additional space at some of the institutions where we could reduce the population there. And that's what occurred. Later, I closed it a second time, and there was, of course, the sheriffs got upset about it and so forth, and the newspapers all wrote it up. And so Judge Scott, who is a federal judge, called me and asked me if I'd meet him at the RMC. And I said, yes, sir, I believe I will. And so I met him at RMC. He toured the facility. He looked at the crowding and so forth. And when he left, the only thing he said was, well, Louie, if you have too much trouble, give me a call. Well, of course, I assumed that meant that if anybody issued an order, he may issue one too. But at any rate, we was able to work it out after that. People knew that I needed help, and the legislature decided they'd appropriate some money, and we worked it out.